I believe that every obligation that Nike has with its factory workers in the past in first world countries and now in first world countries should be extended to those of third world countries because Nike has decided to take the work from people in first world countries and kind of outsource it to third world countries because it's cheaper labor. That doesn't mean that just because they're outsourcing it to different countries, those same practices and human obligations shouldn't be practiced. I actually think it's very kind of discussing the way that Nike has really just kind of turned a blind eye to, the issues that are happening in these third world countries. And also, I do understand that Nike is outsourcing their, manufacturing responsibilities to manufacturing companies in these third world countries. But the fact is, Nike is a way bigger way bigger corporation and way wealthier than these manufacturing companies and has way greater influence. So if they decided to, really push the agenda that they want to treat their workers in third world countries the same, I believe it would happen. Jim Keedy said that an extra $5 on retail price per shoes would provide a living wage for these workers. I believe that Nike should actually not do this because I'm saying this from a customer's point of view, because Nike is actually wealthy enough to pay these workers enough money without having to increase the price to the consumer and still be making exponential amount of profits. So I don't agree. I agree with the kind of the ethics behind Jim Keedy saying that Nike should charge an extra $5 on the retail price because he's looking out for the workers. But also as a consumer in the U.S., I don't want to be getting charged $5 for extra Nike shoes because Nike is the main brand that I wear. So therefore, I would ask that Nike goes ahead and takes it upon themselves, to combat the issues that are happening with labor forces in third world countries and actually just pay them higher because the profits that they're already making off of each shoe is tenfold. So it wouldn't even really, it would kind of affect their profits, their margins of profit by a little bit, but eventually it would equal out. So I believe that Nike should actually pay out like labor workers from third world countries higher amounts instead of actually charging consumers in the first world countries higher, because it's not our responsibility, to pay for these the way that these workers are, maybe treated or paid. It's Nike's responsibility to worry about that, and us as consumers have to push Nike to do that. My three takeaways from this subject are that Nike, this is actually a subject that I was actually pretty informed in the past, and it's something that I've always just thought about even when buying shoes, but I've just realized that a lot of other corporations just do it. Nike's just being put on blast because they're the biggest, shoe company in the world. But my three takeaways was I'd never heard about the Jim Keedy story. That's something new that I did not know about, and I think it's very interesting how he kind of sacrificed his whole life for this cause. I think that is his morality and moral cause is actually something I very respect. Another takeaway is that the people that are being sent to represent the companies in interviews for the U.S. are actually corporate kind of pawns that are being used to just make sure that the viewers in first world countries don't see the actual atrocities that are happening in these factories. So that's another takeaway that I viewed from this subject. And my third takeaway would really be that people in the upper ranks of Nike care way more about, just making money than they do about the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and potentially millions. And I know it's really easy to say that because there's, I'm not the head of a corporation. I'm not the one dealing with the problems that the business has to do. But from the outside view, it's pretty obvious that it like the people on top of Nike the main people don't truly care about the issues that are happening, because if they did, they could take way greater stances to actually solve these issues. The profits that Nike makes per shoe it's kind of unbelievable. Some of these shoes are being made for almost less than $10 and being sold for around $200+. So it's kind of crazy that workers can't be paid off of some of those like minimal profits, because even in those countries, the living conditions and the living the amount of money you need to live are lower. So Nike could actually just match that and make sure that everyone who works for their factory can live comfortably and not have to suffer in the ways that they're suffering. Will I continue to wear Nike? Yes, because if we're being honest, if we really wanted to tackle this problem, we just really wouldn't wear almost any brand other than brands that are made within the U.S. And we know that proper labor conditions are being happen because literally most major brands, Nike, Adidas, Puma, a lot of these other brands, they've also been called out. Well, not Nike, I mean Adidas, Puma, and Reebok. They've been called out for child slave issues also. So Nike is not the only corporation doing it. It's actually a lot of corporations. And if I wanted to truly tackle this problem, I wouldn't just stop wearing Nike. I'd basically have to stop wearing every corporation that's ever been tied to child slave laws. And I don't think that's something that I can truly control just by myself. So I think I'm still gonna keep on wearing Nike. My talking point about this model is what I've been kind of repeating throughout this video, that Nike has the funds to really solve this issue, but they don't want to because they don't want to lose maybe those margins of profits that they were already making. So my talking point would have to ask the class, why do we think that Nike doesn't really want to go ahead and make the step to really try and fix this problem? Because this isn't something that's unfixable. It's actually something that they could tackle very, I wouldn't say easily, but they could tackle at a way better rate and method than they have been doing currently. And yeah, I just want to figure out what everyone thinks about that. Thank you.